Brock Purdy, the 13th best quarterback in the NFL, according to Pro Football Focus. That's where he is ranked by Trevor Sikkema of PFF. As he went through this whole tiered quarterback ranking, honestly, I think I'm a little late to the party seeing this ranking. But the reason why I've seen this is because Emmanuel Sanders, you guys remember E-Man, when he was with the San Francisco 49ers after he was traded from the Denver Broncos, went on that run in 2019. He was only there for half a season, but he made an impact. And he was asked by Kay Adams on the Up and Adams show about Brock Purdy being ranked number 13th best quarterback in the NFL by PFF. And he had some thoughts. And honestly, I have some thoughts as well, because I've done my own rankings of Brock Purdy, and it was also met with a lot of opinions by 49er fans. So I want to get into this, but first, let's take a listen to Emmanuel Sanders talking about the ranking, and then I'm going to break down the ranking in even more detail, and we'll have some fun with this one. But take a listen to Emmanuel Sanders talking about Brock Purdy, 13th best quarterback. Why they keep sleeping on Brock? Take a listen right here.
I want to ask you a little bit about the Niners, because we have an analyst from Pro Football Focus, you know, the numbers, the grades, all of that. And he ranked the quarterbacks using metrics and all of that. And he got Brock Purdy in the 4th tier of quarterback rankings, number 13 among all quarterbacks, behind Trevor Lawrence, behind Jordan Love. Purdy's still a polarizing guy somehow. Do you think that's a fair spot for Purdy, or would you put him above or below 13?
Yeah, I don't think that's a fair spot. I mean, you know, as far as Purdy, I just don't understand why people just keep sleeping on him. You know, I was talking to Debo last year just about Purdy, and I said, man, what is it about Purdy? And he says, man, you should see him in the huddle. He comes in the huddle. He plays with a certain confidence. He comes in and he believes. He makes other guys believe. And I play with quarterbacks like that, and that's the type of guy that the Niners have. And I mean, last year, you know, he was a couple plays from being a Super Bowl champion. Would that ranking still be the same? But you know, everything that I'm hearing is just keep sleeping on Purdy. He's gonna keep proving him wrong. But man, what a heck of a story to go from Mr. Irrelevant to being relevant and going to the Super Bowl last year. And I'm rooting for Purdy. I hope they finish it this year and go and win it all.
I hope they do too. And like, that means a lot coming from you, because you played with some you played with the legends, Emmanuel. Like, do you ever think about that? Roethlisberger, Peyton, I'm sure you think about it, but I mean, like, I looked at the list this morning and was like, Breeze, Josh Allen. It's amazing. And so to hear you speak so highly of Brock means a lot. It resonates.
First of all, in regards to what Emmanuel Mosley said, I love that he's like, dude, I want straight to Debo Samuel and ask him what's up. And do you notice how when people talk about Brock Purdy, especially players that play with him, they talk about the intangible qualities? You know, I got a lot of pushback from 49er fans, 49ers content creators about intangible importance in quarterbacks. And when you look at Brock Purdy and people continue to ask, hey, Debo, what's the deal with Brock? Oh, when he enters the huddle, he makes everyone better. He has a confidence about him that permeates within all these superstars. Mr. Irrelevant can come into a huddle of the best athletes in the NFL and get them to play better. That's an intangible quality. That's not physical trait. That's not how tall you are, how hard you can throw. A lot of people could throw the football really well, but going into a huddle, being able to understand the playbook, spit it out, and on top of that, be able to build confidence in some of the best players to ever step on the field, that is huge, and that is an intangible quality. And I've been talking and harping on the fact that that's why Brock Purdy is one of the reasons why he's been able to find success, is because that plays into work ethic, that plays into how you handle pressure, adversity, handle, you know, the ability to read defenses, all those different things. That's why we love Brock Purdy. I talk about it all the time when doing quarterback evaluation for the pre-draft process. You can't just evaluate quarterbacks on how far they throw the football or how hard they throw the football, or even how accurate they are. You have to understand how these quarterbacks think and how they handle situations. That is the determination that will ultimately lead you to finding successful quarterbacks. We can find guys, we all can see who can throw really well and who's really accurate. But we got to figure out when it's 3rd and 14 and the game is on the line and you got to have it right now and they're throwing zero blitz at you. How are you going to handle that? How are you going to lift everyone else around you up? How does that occur? That's an intangible quality. And I'm going to get into this PFF ranking because it kind of pissed me off a little bit. And it has me thinking even more about this situation. But I like what Emmanuel Sanders was on point, I thought, with his situation. I think we're all in kind of the same boat. Keep sleeping on Brock. It is what it is, whatever. But this is what he's actually talking about. So let's read it. So Brock Purdy obviously ranked number 13, and we'll look at the rankings. But he says, I'm fairly comfortable with Brock Purdy's ranking on this list. His consistent success, albeit in a very talented offense over the past 2 years, should not go unrecognized. His 78.3% adjusted completion rate was a top 5 number in 2023, which speaks to his timing and his accuracy. And his 5.4% big time throw percentage shows that even with a below average arm talent, he is good enough anticipator to make things happen. That sentence pissed me off. I'm not going to lie. That sentence pissed me off. Even with below average arm talent, I am not going to sit here and tell you and blow whatever up wherever and tell you that Brock Purdy is the best arm in the NFL. It's just objectively not true. But also, in that same light, to say that he has below average arm talent, to me, is why I get upset. If you actually watch Brock Purdy play football, there's nothing about his arm that would dictate that it's below average. Below average. Are you kidding me? Just because Brock Purdy isn't slinging it 60 yards downfield doesn't mean he has a below average arm. Arm talent. Have you seen this guy thread needles 25 yards over the middle of the field, over linebackers' heads, in between safeties, in bracketed coverage? Dude, it's ridiculous. This pissed me off. I'm reading it. I'm like, all right, whatever. And then, even with below average arm talent, this to me speaks to people who talk about football who don't know what the hell they're talking about. Below average arm talent? Are you kidding? Have you ever watched this guy play? Like, come on, man. Like, what are we doing? Below average. Like, I'm not sitting here saying you have to say Brock Purdy is the best arm in the NFL or even a top 5 arm talent. But you got to be able to watch what Brock Purdy's doing out here. And the layered throws, the throws against the sideline on deep outs with timing and anticipation. And even if the timing and anticipation isn't there, think of that throw that he had to George Kittle in the Jaguars, where he literally got hit and then couldn't step into the throw and throws it, and he leads George Kittle about 40 yards downfield for a touchdown. I'm tired of this narrative because, to me, all this narrative proves at this particular point is you don't watch football. You can crunch your numbers, you can run your spreadsheets as much as you want. You'll never be able to truly grasp football if that is the only way in which you view it. Now, I'm not an analytical person, so I'm not the one to be here defending analytics. I'm a tape watcher. That's how I understand football. Now I understand there's two worlds that need to coexist. I do think there's a place for analytics, but it has to be supplemented with the tape. The tape is the end all be all. The stats help supplement. They help pinpoint certain situations that maybe you haven't seen or picked up on tape that you could go back and look. But as you can see, I don't like that. And we haven't even talked about the ranking yet. So I got a problem with the below average arm narrative. I don't even think he has an average arm. I think when you look at the throws that Brock Purdy has made and that's an average arm. What are we doing, man? Like, what are we doing? He goes on to say Purdy is also a very confident player and pushes the ball, which battles the game manager label he often gets. He's not just a dink and dunk passer. Does he have the athletic talent of some of the other players? No, but he's damn good at his job regardless. All right, so he's below average arm talent, but he pushes the ball downfield and is very confident. I swear. I'm gonna get upset. And then we look at the ranking. You've got Trevor Lawrence 12, Jordan Love 11. The melting pot of starters apparently is the tier that he's in. CJ Stroud ahead of him, Jalen Hurts ahead of him, Aaron Rodgers ahead of him, Matthew Stafford ahead of him, Dak Prescott, Justin Herbert, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, and Patrick Mahomes. Man, I don't know. I don't even care about the ranking. It just doesn't sit right with me. I'm like really getting tired of that narrative. Like, I'm gonna drink some coffee. I'm gonna try to calm myself down a little bit. You can tell me where you think Brock Purdy is ranked and where he should be ranked in the comments below, while I try to calm down a little bit. Below average arm.